Welcome, everyone, to episode 74 of the Comic Watcher Show. Matt could not be here with us, so it is just me and Nick with this awesome show that we have for you in store. Today we have the creative team of Michael Conrad and Noah Bailey from TREMOR DOSE, Comixology original graphic novel that is currently just getting all sorts of attention because it is just really, really good, and you should be really, really watching it. So without further ado, Nick, how are you?
You know, we're making it. We're doing pretty well. Stuck out in East Texas like always.
Right. You know, I feel like I'm the only because I'm the only one not in Texas for this episode. I'm way on the East Coast. So, Michael, how are you and your family and everyone doing during this this virus, the shutdown, this pandemic and stuff?
We're doing pretty good. I guess most people probably know that my partner is famed comic creator Becky Cloonan, and so we both work from home. So things aren't much different there. We don't have a ton of friends anyway, so it's pretty normal. It's without a doubt it's affected us. You know, there's the anxiety of knowing that people are ill and that that the economy is really damaged, that the comics industry is really damaged. The main concern is just about making sure that that everyone's staying well and doing what they can to kind of prevent this thing from spreading any worse than it is.
Absolutely. Noah, how are you and your family doing during this this whole shutdown, this whole pandemic crisis?
Doing all right. I don't really go out and do much aside from the pandemic, so not a whole lot has changed really. So
absolutely good. Glad to hear everyone. I'm sorry.
We're the least exciting people ever. It's like, yeah, we don't do anything. But I think most people that work in comics, you'll find that they spend a lot of time alone. You know, that's when you get the work done. And also you don't like punch in and punch out. A lot of times you'll spend all day working on something. Before you know it, the sun's gone down and the day has gotten away from you. So it's similar in that respect. Every now and then I'll force Noah to come watch me drink or something. But other than that, like we don't go out, man. We just work on comics.
The best I can do.
Yeah. But hey, I mean, even if you get out to watch other people drink, I mean that's something. You're doing something with your time, and that counts.
Yeah. He's got a lot of drunken wisdom.
It's pretty good. I've managed to force him to drink a few times, which is really awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really into corrupting the youth. Noah's close to 20 years younger than me, so it's kind of it's
15.
not. You're only 15. Oh yeah, I always think you're way younger than you are.
Oh,
Whatever. You're catching up to me, young man. If you keep drinking, if you drink enough, you'll look like this. So you got that.
If I'm lucky.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, again for joining the Comic Watchers here. As we stated previously, they have a great graphic novel out right now called TREMOR DOSE. It's a Comixology original. It's currently on, obviously, Comixology. And real quick, if you're a Prime member, it's free. So definitely take advantage. And if you're not a Prime member, it's at an absolute steal of a deal for 99 cents right now. So definitely take advantage.
That deal goes on until midnight tonight. So by the time people are listening, it's gonna be $6.99 or free if you have Prime. And I'm guessing that most people probably have Prime unless they have like a moral quandary with supporting Amazon, which I respect. But also, like, if you have Prime, take advantage of it. It's not taking money away from us. Like, we'd really like you to read our book.
Absolutely. Even at $6.99, I think it's still a steal of a deal for one hell of a book. So make sure you pick up this book. So without further ado, gentlemen, we're going to get into some questions about this book. And once again, thanks a bunch for joining us. So basically, my first question is going to be the art and the story of this book merged so fantastically. What entailed the creative process, and how did you guys hook up for this collaboration for TREMOR DOSE?
Noah, why don't you go ahead on this one, bud?
Okay. I actually discovered Michael through his appearances on the Forever Midnight podcast, which I'm a big fan of. And this was about 5 years ago now, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, if you haven't heard of Forever Midnight, it's a horror podcast where it's friends of mine from California. It's very funny, worth checking out.
Yeah. They discuss horror films and kind of dissect them and make jokes. And he was hilarious on the podcast. I would definitely recommend every episode that he's on. And so I added him on a bunch of different social media, and then we ended up he asked me if I wanted to work on a project with him. And we went back and forth on ideas a bit, and then we kind of landed on TREMOR DOSE. And you wanna go from there?
Yeah, we started working on it without any kind of deal in place. We didn't know what we were going to do with it, but I was doing a lot of self-publishing at the time, and that's kind of the direction that I see comics kind of staying in for me. I have done work for a number of big publishers, but just with the comics world being what it is today, there's going to be a big return to that DIY ethic and just bootstrapping our way through things. Either way, when I got Noah on board and Noah was willing to do this crazy big project without expectation, I knew that I had met somebody who is a kindred spirit. So we just started plowing into it with the intention of maybe we'll self-publish this as a zine or something at some point. And the more I was seeing Noah's art come in, I was like, man, I gotta do something really special with this. He's putting his heart on the page every time. And luckily around that time I was doing a lot of conventions, and I had met up with the Comixology Originals people, and they basically said, hey, we like this idea that you've pitched us. We just don't know that there's a market for this kind of this weird thing, Can I swear? Can I swear here?
Sure. Yeah, swear away.
I was gonna say this kind of weird shit, I sent in some sample pages and the pitch material, and they said, yeah, I really don't know. Like, it will be the weirdest thing that we've done. And thankfully they took a chance on it, and I think it's been to the benefit of everyone, including the Comixology Originals line. I think it kind of opened their eyes to what they can do with the platform. They can take chances that some of the more conventional publishers can't take. And they were able to give us 100% freedom to do what we wanted to do. They had like one note for us, which was there's a scene where there's a bunch of dead like pop culture icons in a pile, and they were like, oh, like, I don't know, we might need to obscure that, and we feel like we're safe under the pretense of it being like under parody law, but I don't know, if we get a cease and desist or something, I'll deal with it then. But for now, my legal team, which involves me and Google, say we're gonna be all right with that. But yeah, so that was the main thing. We had a bunch of it done, and we just wanted to finish it on our own terms. We didn't want to create something with the audience too much in mind. We kind of wanted the audience to come to us. We wanted to do something as genuine, Noah and Michael, as we could, and hopefully hopefully that honesty and drive to create something original worked out. I think it did, because it's selling really well. So
awesome. Yeah, it definitely did on my end. That's for sure. Nick?
Yeah, definitely. I gotta ask really quick, Noah. Whenever you were kind of approaching the visuals in this, I wanted to ask if you had any influence from Junji Ito and the Uzumaki stuff. Because I noticed, like, as soon as I got into it, it really felt reminiscent of that kind of horror approach, and I kind of wanted to see if you were influenced by that at all.
Oh, well, I mean, I've been hearing that a lot, and I'm like insanely flattered. But when I first started the book, I was mostly into. Have you ever seen the movie? What is it? Kuroniko, the Japanese horror film from the 60s.
I haven't.
Okay, so I was like watching a lot of Japanese horror films, and then also Kathy Kollwitz and like Charles Addams, and those were like my main influences on all of the visuals. But yeah, I've been hearing a lot of people compare it to that, and yeah, I'm super flattered. I didn't really have that in mind at the time, but I can totally see it. Maybe like a less great version, but yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it definitely captures a lot of those like surreal elements, and Junji Ito is kind of known for that page turning horror where you're almost apprehensive to turn that page, and that's what I got a lot of this out of. You kind of weren't sure what's going to happen next.
Oh man, thank you so much. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Anything that I did, especially at the beginning of the book, was totally luck, I would say, if it's effective, because I had no idea what I was doing. I mean, I was trying a lot of different things, and I definitely learned a lot about, yeah, like having that page turning quality and things like that. But yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely.
I think part of the reason why people go to Junji Ito when comparing Noah's art to someone is because Noah's art is so unique that there isn't. It's hard to find somebody in the American comics marketplace that you can say, oh, that's where Noah's getting his inspiration from. So it's natural. I remember when I was first seeing how Noah sets up his sequential art, I thought it looked very much like a European comic book, and I still kind of feel like it's got a European kind of pacing to it. Part of that is through the script. You know, we had these parts, we talked about it a lot, where to willfully decompress and where to squeeze things in real tight. So I think the pacing elements of that are Noah making really brilliant choices, maybe by his own estimation as a mistake. And some of it is stuff that we really talked about a lot, and we took some risks, and thankfully it worked out. I think Noah and I are working on another graphic novel right now, and it's kind of in response to the marketing of TREMOR DOSE. We didn't know that it was going to be kind of marketed as a horror book. We never really thought of it as a horror book. There's definitely horrifying elements to it. But we were like, oh, if they want like a horror book, let's do a horror book. So this next book is going to be, maybe there will be willful Junji Ito stuff going on. There's going to be a lot of body horror and
Oh, nice.
surreal, weird stuff going on in the next book. So
that's so exciting. That was like a few of my future questions. I got to follow up on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see
Exactly, right.
you see how I can just you put a microphone on me, I can just go. I've got all kinds of things to talk about.
I kind of wanted to follow up on a quote you had mentioned in the afterword about Comixology, mentioning that this was one of the weirdest titles that they've ever done, and that came along, you know, that happened because you were allowed such artistic freedom. But it seems like a dream project in that way. But were there any unexpected challenges that came from that type of freedom?
Yeah, you want to answer that? Let Noah go on that.
Challenges with the freedom. Well, I honestly think that Michael and I kind of have an attitude where we really want to do things our way, and we're not really into compromising at all, you know?
No.
So I think that if we hadn't had the freedom, we would have said, fuck it, we're going to put it out ourselves, you know? And I'm like, neither of us are afraid of that at all, and we're totally into it. So they were really great to let us do whatever we wanted. And like, honestly, we kind of thought that maybe they'd have a little bit of an issue with some of like there are a few kind of like psychosexual aspects in there maybe. And yeah, we were maybe expecting a little bit of backlash about that, but nothing at all. And they were just really cool. And yeah, I think it was definitely to our advantage.
Yeah. Like Noah said, I think we're kind of protected by this attitude of, oh, we can just do everything ourselves. And so if something had happened, if something happens with this new book that we're working on, the obvious go-to is we're just going to go ahead and self-publish it. I don't think that it's like a step back or anything. We love being on the Comixology platform and being part of the
Absolutely.
Comixology Originals line. But as far as creating work, we don't need a publisher. No one needs a publisher nowadays. And I don't think I'm not impressed by somebody who's, you know, by virtue of where they work. You know, I don't meet somebody and they say, oh, I work at Walmart, and I'm less impressed by them than somebody who works at Banana Republic or something. You know, it's just, you're working at different chains. You know, you both sell clothing. Congratulations, like you've succeeded in that goal. We make comic books. You know, whether we're working for the big one or for the little guy, there's almost a greater value to just doing it yourself. I've got a huge respect for self-publishers, and it's something that I continue to do and will do until I die. And I know Noah's the same way. So, yeah, we've never concerned ourselves with editorial feedback. You know, if it makes sense, we'll do it. If not, then we won't. In this circumstance, they kind of gave us free reign. And the only problem with that is, for me as a writer, it's easy for me to say, oh, I've got so many more ideas that we could explore. But Noah's hands have only got so many hours in a day where they're working. So, you know, maybe we'll do more Tremor Dose at some point. There's more to be told there for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot more there for sure.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No complaints here. And that if you're going to bring Jen back and more Tremor Dose and stuff like that, please do. By all means. There's questions there. There's questions.
Yeah, and I think we like there being questions there. I've read a couple Goodreads reviews, which are almost uniformly awful. You know, they're written by terrible people. If you got a Goodreads, if you like write Goodreads reviews, you're probably a terrible person. I'm kidding around, but Goodreads usually beat us up, and one of the things that they beat us up on is that they feel like there isn't a concise ending to Tremor Dose, and that I would say there's a real clear and concise answer to every single question that Tremor Dose raises. It's just I'm not gonna give it to you. Like, you kind of gotta work on that yourself if you want to. If you don't want to, then you can go on Goodreads and give us 2 stars in a weak review.
Yeah.
And I love you just the same.
But
thanks for checking it out.
Yeah. That's why I was saying in my review is like, this isn't your average graphic novel that you can just sit here and go, oh, superhero in a tight suit and saves the day and does stuff like that. I mean, it's like every time you read this, there's something different that you can, like one of my favorite panels that you guys just hit on was that with all the with the pop culture icons and stuff like that, just picking out who was in those two piles is marvelous, and it's kind of funny. I don't know if I should laugh at something like that, but it was funny and it was enjoyable. So
that's kind of a freaky contrast with like the
Yeah.
Holocaust imagery, and then Mickey Mouse dead on the top of it.
Right. Yeah. I think it was Op 7 that was growing the Mickey Mouse hands, and he's looking at this pile of. I was like, that's funny. I don't know if I should laugh at that. Maybe I should call my shrink or something. But it's good stuff.
All of those similarities are it's circumstantial. That's
Totally.
Those aren't based on anything in the mainstream media. Those are all things that we made up that just happen to look exactly like these pop culture icons.
Yeah. That's what I meant to say. That's what I meant to say. We can edit that out.
Just in case the fuzz are listening.
Yeah, exactly right. So, real quick, Michael, in the back of the book, you talk about the power of dreams. And in that regard, what do you think the power of our dreams or nightmares, for that matter, do you think we can learn from our dreams? Do you think they can serve as a muse in our sense of what role do you think our dreams play in our everyday lives?
Yeah. I think it's really important to pay attention to your dreams and to I've talked about this in a couple different interviews. When TREMOR DOSE came out around Halloween of last year, and it seemed like everyone was really interested in the further philosophy on dreams that we have and that we try and convey in the story. All I can speak to is my personal relationship with dreams, which is that I pay very close attention to my dreams, and I oftentimes will do what my dreams instruct me to do. By way of example, 2 years ago, I moved to Austin, Texas, based on a dream. I had a dream that I was waking up, and it was April Fool's Day, and in my dream, I just understood that this is the day and that I'm in Austin, Texas. So in short order, I drove to Austin, Texas, and now that's where I live. And it's because my dream told me to do it. And as a result of that dream, my life has improved incredibly. And it's not entirely because of the location, and it's not entirely because I did what my dream told me to do. It's a combination of those things. I've had negative experiences with dreams as well, where something terrible happened in a dream because I willed it to happen. I would have these, I created a lucid dream where something terrible happened in my dream, and then the next day, that terrible thing that happened in my dream had happened in real life. So I think the only difference between dreams and reality are the way that we engage with it on a sensual level. Like if all of a sudden I took away your ability to smell or to be able to make sense of the world around you in the way that you currently do, that would be kind of a dream, right? Like I don't know that dreams are any less real than what we cognize as reality. This sounds like some tripper shit, but hey man, that's what I'm into. So get you some.
I love it.
There you go. Right now, yeah, that's one of those things that. Okay.
I was just gonna say, I think like the short version of that is just pay attention to your dreams, and sometimes your dreams don't always happen like when you're sleeping, like when you're in a REM mode. I've been noticing lately when I'm really tired and I let my mind go free, I'll start having these different kind of thoughts, and I think that's fun to experiment with. So next time you're like on the brink of like knowing that you're going to sleep and your consciousness is shifting, try and pay attention to what you think about. Let your mind roam. It's kind of like transcendental meditation in that way. It's fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I
right.
really
Like
wanna-
noted, right? I'm taking notes over here, but it's good.
I kind of want to
Nick?
follow up on that with a question for Noah,
Yeah.
in that the dynamic in writing and artwork is something I love exploring in this creative teams. How do you like interpret, that kind of writing or that kind of storytelling, and that's very nuanced and not really overt like that? How do you convey that type of storytelling through your art? And was it difficult to approach something that's so layered like this?
Yeah. A lot of the time, especially in the second half of the book, I think things got a lot more complex, and the settings were changing and shifting constantly, and there were a lot of ideas on every page. And I don't know. I think we have a really fun collaboration where we really like to surprise each other with things, and we have a lot of the same ideas about things, even if we don't necessarily verbally communicate it. It comes across somehow, and it's kind of hard to explain really, but I think we're synced up a lot of the time. So even if something was like pretty challenging at the time, it ended up being exactly what we both wanted it to be. I don't know if that answers your question.
No, definitely, because I was reading it thinking, like getting a script or some type of writing for a story like this has got to be difficult because it's a bit more interpretational. So I couldn't imagine, conveying that through the visuals.
Yeah. There were, well, and I mean, there were also certain times where he had things in the script that I couldn't fit onto every panel, and I was like, man, this one's gonna have to wait,
What I was always very pleased with anything that Noah would change. It was always, he, for the most part, like Noah's saying, we see very much eye to eye on things, but he would tweak things here and there that would just insert a little bit more of his personality into the thing, and that's the type of relationship that doesn't always happen organically. With Noah, I'm very lucky that Noah and I have so many of the same sensibilities. Noah's put me onto a bunch of great movies and comics, and I'd like to think that I've done the same with him. So in this creative process, it was kind of taking all these things that we knew that we both loved and putting them together and putting our own spin on it. And what came out was something that we're both really proud of. Tremor Dose continues to win all kinds of awards. Do you know about the awards that Tremor Dose has won?
Oh, fill us in, please.
Yeah, please.
Becky said she liked it quite a bit, so that's kind of an award. My cousin said it was pretty good, and my ex-roommate did a 4-star review on Amazon, which I really appreciated. So those are awards. In some ways, Tremor Dose has felt like it's felt almost invisible in the marketplace because it's on this like different. It's on a different platform than people are used to. So I've got aunts and uncles who are like, "Oh, I want to pick up your book," and it's like, "Oh yeah, go on to Amazon. You got to download this app and do this and do that." And so I haven't gotten a lot of feedback from some people that I would love to get feedback from.
Right.
But we've managed to, by chance or providence, kind of stumble into this position in the market where, especially right now, where things are really wounded in terms of the direct market, like we're in position to have some product there just waiting for people that will be easy for them to get in these like tough times. So we're kind of I make jokes about the awards, but we've really we deserve an award for having like the coolest pull quotes of any like any team to show up on the scene with like their first graphic novel. We had some really incredible people say some really really flattering things about us.
Chip Zdarsky, I think I saw one.
Yeah. We're so lucky that this book has been embraced by other professionals in the industry. So yeah, we don't need any awards. The big prize is getting some more eyes on this book, and we love hearing back from people about what they think it means, or about how confused they are, or even if they feel. I was joking about the Goodreads people. Even if you don't like it, like we're so thankful. We spent so long working on this. And our gratitude is very real for anyone that takes the time to look at Tremor Dose. It's really it's an honor and a privilege to be receiving your attention for the time that it takes to read the book.
Very cool.
If you're gonna watch a comic, watch Tremor Dose Comic Watch.
There you go.
Now you guys got a bumper. Comic Watch. Do it.
There you go. Yeah, tune in, please.
Yeah, that's a great plug.
Check this one.
I kind of want to follow up on the Comixology Originals platform. I know you had mentioned a bit about its difficulty or its inaccessibility for kind of a mainstream readers, but in comics, it's pretty popular, and it's kind of a well-known place to find digital comics, which have been thrust into a new spotlight. And so I kind of wanted to get your ideas or your opinions on the role of digital comics right now, and that Tremor Dose has found its way in.
Yeah. We never want to cause any harm to like comic shops or anything like that.
Yeah.
In fact, like I was saying, there's like a big blind spot in the readership where people that are used to buying their comics off the racks maybe haven't heard of Tremor Dose or haven't checked out the other Comixology Originals books. It's got its own audience, you know, it exists. I think we will start to see more crossover with these things as people are maybe a little less likely to run out to their comic shop or unable to get to their comic shop. Our goal is eventually we would like to see whether it's through a deal with Comixology or with something that we broker on our own when our digital exclusive contract ends with Comixology. We definitely want to see Tremor Dose in print so that people that are less likely to read on their devices will have access to it. But it's just this. For some readership, it's like this line is always going to be like kind of in their blind spot, and we're hoping to create stuff that's so compelling that hopefully you hear a little bit of a buzz about it and you're willing to give it a chance. And I think the fact that you can get it for free if you got Amazon. If you don't have Amazon, you can sign up for like that 2-week trial membership, go read our book, and then cancel it. I've got friends who did that. Like,
there you go.
I don't care how you get it. I just want you to read the book, and I want you to understand that there's other stuff through Comixology Originals that's like just as good. I'm not gonna say there's anything better. Tremor Dose is the best, baby. Number 1. Just got a prize. My favorite book on Comixology Originals.
That's enough. Like right there.
Noah's too. It's exactly the book that we wanted to make. You know.
Yeah.
Like you can't get that from most mainstream publishers, and this is definitely a mainstream publisher, and we definitely managed to make something that is purely us. So I don't know. There will be crossover in the future, I'm sure. Like it's just a matter of time before Comixology cuts some kind of deal with somebody and you see these things on the racks. But in the meantime, it looks really good. It looks good on my phone. Looks good on an iPad. It's all gravy, baby.
There you go.
As long as Noah's art is like looks good, I'm cool with however you read it.
Yeah. Are there any difficulties with that, Noah,
There
in
you go.
digital versus have you done any print, or is it kind of a different beast with digital?
I've never been published for comics in print. I guess I did. I think like the first time I was published, it was like in a comics anthology that Josh. Do you know who Josh Bayer is?
I don't think so.
Josh Bayer put out this anthology. He's a great cartoonist. It's called Black Hood, and it was like a comics anthology about like depression. And I did a page in that, but I wouldn't really call it a comic. I guess yeah. I mean, so I've never really seen any of my sequential artwork in print, other than Michael printed up a few copies at Office Depot, and it's fucking awesome. But yeah. So I mean, I think the digital platform looks fantastic. I don't know. I don't really have any problems with it. I would love to see like a hardcover or something and hold it in my hands, but
yeah,
I think it looks pretty good digitally. I like it.
Cool.
Awesome. And no, I gotta ask, with your projects is doing like posters and magazine covers and stuff, and then switching over to something like Tremor Dose. Was your process different than a taking Tremor Dose and then say like you were doing a magazine cover or something like that? Were you kind of like in the same zone, or was it a completely different process?
I think for the longest time, whenever I would try to work on comics, it would come out in some kind of like quasi Robert Crumb meets like Bill Sienkiewicz stuff, and I was really trying to, I don't know, I was trying all sorts of stuff,
right.
And so I think initially, because normally when I'm approaching an illustration, I like to paint, and I take like big illustration board, and I'm really careful with setting everything up, and I was kind of approaching the comic like that at first. And but I was really having a hard time because I wanted to stick to pen and ink and do as much as I could with just pen and ink. And then I like working in so many different mediums, and I get really bored really easily. So it just ended up just becoming whatever I wanted to throw at a page at any moment,
It kind of reads a little bit along those lines too. I noticed there's like a few different shifts in tone and aesthetic that ended up working well to the story too, and kind of its interpretational, like dreamlike state. It flows like that.
Oh, great! Thank you. Yeah, I mean, some of that stuff was definitely intentional. There were a lot of times where in dreams I had a very clear idea of what medium I wanted to use and things like that, and what I wanted the outcome to be. And but then there were other times where I just wanted to take some charcoal and rub it in,
Yeah.
Sometimes Noah would send over a page, and I would just say, "No, this is no damn good. This will not." I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Imagine I did that.
I missed that, but yeah.
There's this great scene where Jin is like throwing things up. She's at the Last Supper table with a bunch of clowns, and she's like throwing up fetuses and lambs and stuff. And I saw that, and I was like, this is no damn good. So we aren't going to include that. If this ever goes to print, we're taking that out for the print version. Just kidding. That's like everyone's favorite pages. Everyone.
I was like,
that.
you can't take that out. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I need that on a T-shirt. What are you guys doing to me?
Noah really he shines when it's something that involves vomiting or defecation or something like that. Noah really shows up for those pages.
Now I'm really excited for the horror title.
There goes my influence. Right there. So yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I really want to like tell you about some of the stuff that we're doing in the next book. So this is where we're really testing how far we can push the envelope.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is with the new book. It's not even so much about pushing the envelope in terms of gross out stuff or visual, shocking visuals or anything. It's more about like these philosophical kind of dark corners that we're dipping into. And when we pitched this new book, which I don't want to even say the name of it or anything, we did get notes back from it immediately, and the notes were that people in the office are really concerned about the central problem of the book, the central issue that needs to be resolved. And I had to remind them, like, hey, this is a horror book. It's supposed to feel kind of weird and gross and scary. So yeah, that's me teasing a thing that's not going to be out for a little while. But Noah is he's hard at work right now on it, and it looks really incredible. It's going to blow you away.
That is exciting. I know it's kind of hard to describe these things. I found myself in a position where I was describing Tremor Dose to my wife while reading it, and it's hard to just give a short explanation of what this book is. And I kind of landed on it's something like Alice in Wonderland meets Inception.
I love that. Yeah, I love that.
So I kind of wanted to ask, like, if you had to quickly describe this book to a new reader looking to get into it, how would each of you do it?
Oh, this was such an annoying thing. We never like normally you want to have an elevator pitch. Like everyone says, like, oh, if you're gonna sell your book, like be able to say in like 2 sentences this punchy thing about it. And we had to like come up with something for the Comixology site and for the PR team that was like setting up interviews and stuff for this. And I forget what it was. Oh, it's so embarrassing. Go on Amazon and just read it. It says like, everyone dreams. It's like, everyone dreams, but this girl is having a dream. Oh my god, the dog didn't like my description.
Yeah, he was pissed. That was no good.
All right. Here I go. I'm going to try and do an elevator pitch. Meet Jin. Meet Jin. Jin's having dreams featuring this man who other people are having dreams featuring that same man, apparently. And she gets called in to do an interview where she tells about her dreams, and then is it all a dream, baby? Who knows?
There's a movie that I would say tonally kind of is like a really good representation of what we were going for. It's I'm a huge Orson Welles fan. It's called The Trial. Have you seen it?
No.
With Anthony Perkins.
Yep.
It's a trip, and it's beautiful to look at. Even if you don't just watch it on mute, it's incredible. But I would say if you watch that movie and then read Tremor Dose, you'd probably end up with the same feeling.
So your elevator pitch is to go watch an Orson Welles movie?
Yeah.
In 2 sentences.
I was trying to find a comparison.
All right. So go watch Mulholland Drive, but only watch that sequence where the guy's describing his dream and then they go see that creepy person behind the dumpster.
The best scene in the movie.
Just put that on loop, and that's
our elevator pitch. Yeah.
Play it, but turn your TV upside down while you watch it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a book about dreams. It's a book about the nature of reality. It's a relationship with your own mind. And there's a significant subplot about guilt in the book that I've only heard or read reviews of like one or two people who like really kind of picked up on this, like what I thought was a pretty significant plot thing going on. A lot of it's about guilt, so maybe that's just like a key, a key to a special secret chest that if you go into the book and you pay close attention, you'll see something there.
Cool.
Yeah. Also, the picture on the wall.
Interesting.
The picture on the wall in the interview room. That's Harry S. Truman on the wall. That's another clue for you.
Now you did it.
Uh-oh. There's
That's
something there, yeah.
Okay, so now I'm going to go read. So now I'm going to read Tremor Dose yet again after I get off here with you guys, and now I got to pick some. Now I got more questions.
Just
you guys want to come on the show again and answer more questions?
Yeah, just keep reading it. Yeah, next time really dive deep. No more softball questions next time.
Yeah.
when we got invited to be on the show, one, thank you very much. It's really been a privilege. But two, I was told that we were going to talk about our 10 favorite comics that came out or last week or this past Wednesday, and I immediately like sweat beaded on my head. I was like, "Fool, I'm not going outside though." Like, I'm not going.
Just not happening.
Yeah, I don't know if anything came out.
Well,
if it did,
and the thing is,
stuff came out.
And the thing is, I will go ahead and jump on that grenade. Is when I looked at my previous message to Michael, I'm like, oh my God, I'm an idiot. This sounds so cloudy because I gave him our normal show program. What we do. Read as, oh, hey, this is what we're going to do. Until Michael responded back was like, I'm going, oh, shit. I just reread what I just sent him. Nope, this is not what we're going to do. Like, damn it. So, yeah, that's my fault. Oops.
You know what? It was good. It kept me lively. It made me feel like I could be a better comic fan. Like strap on a mask and some gloves, hazmat suit. Go get your pull.
Tight suit.
Yeah.
Well, once comics start coming back out, if you want to come back on and wear a tight suit, some gloves, a mask, we're more than happy to have you. Come on back on. Noah, you can come on too, man. Strap on a suit. Yeah. No judgments.
I would love to get Noah and I to come back and for us to share like a book or two that we love that maybe people haven't read, because Noah clearly, during this interview alone, we've been talking for a little minute now, but he's dropped about 12 references of things that I've never heard of. Noah, we going on a deep dive, baby.
Oh yeah.
Noah's into some grimy, strange subterranean stuff, and I'd love to put the spotlight on Noah and his weird interests. I've got a couple weird ones too. We can
you absolutely do.
Yeah.
A couple of weirdos.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime you guys want to come back on for a fireside chat about weird stuff, we're definitely game for sure. Absolutely.
Cool. We really appreciate you guys giving us your time. It made
absolutely.
It's been a kind of gray, rainy day here in Austin, and with the quarantine and everything, Becky's been annoying me. The cats are out of control. I really appreciate you guys giving me a little bit of sunshine.
Becky's been annoying you. That's good.
She's playing a Switch right now.
Yeah.
That's a role reversal.
Maybe Animal Crossing.
Hey, how are you? But no, it is absolutely our pleasure having you guys on, talking about this great book that I probably been driving Nick and Matt and everyone at Comic Watch crazy. That they need to read, and hopefully I at least got one. I got Nick to come on, and well, he has to because it's part of his job. It's what we do every Thursday. But still, but no, this book is really good, and we really cannot wait for this creative team to do another book and other projects and stuff like that. And all joking aside, once that new book comes out, or if you guys just want to get together for whatever, freaky fireside chat, please let us know. And we'd love to have you anytime you guys want to come back on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. It was really a pleasure. Let us know when this thing goes live, and I can't wait to listen back and be really embarrassed about myself.
Me too, bro.
Yeah. Noah, you got some things to
Absolutely.
Noah's got some things to be embarrassed about. Isn't Noah like? There's something about Noah that's just so cool. It's like, man, do you say anything that's not cool? Like it's really annoying. Like because I'm patently uncool, and then Noah is like into cool stuff and draws really well. It's like, man, he's the talent of this team. So,
oh my god,
Oh,
I don't even know how to respond to that.
No, I got a gift for you, buddy. I can't wait to give you a gift, Noah.
I'm excited to receive it.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's about our taxes, bud. Can't wait.
Shit.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you for having us on.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. Awesome.
Yep.
Be good. Be safe.
Thanks. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
All right, so that was episode 74 of the Comic Watcher Show. Open up with Michael Conrad and Noah Bailey of TREMOR DOSE. I have been your stand-in host, Mike Akins, from the Eastern Shore of Virginia, because Matt is out building skyscrapers somewhere in Oklahoma, probably for the Tiger King, hopefully not for Carol Baskin. I don't know, but we haven't seen him yet, so who knows. Anyway, Nick, you got any last words before we sign off?
Go sign up for Comixology Unlimited and read TREMOR DOSE. There's a ton of cool titles out. Like, just go sign up for it, read it, jump into digital comics already. What are you waiting for?
Absolutely. Even if, and I will be the first one real quick here so we can go ahead and cut this off. I am definitely one of those, old men screaming at the sky about print and, digital. But I do have some digital stuff. And I am really, for the past couple of years, gotten enthralled with the Comixology originals. So even if you don't want to do I don't read digital comics, I totally get it. But the Comixology originals, there is some really good stuff that you're missing out on. And TREMOR DOSE is one of them. They got a bunch of other good titles out there that you may see on Comic Watch. Who knows? So definitely keep your eyes peeled here. And don't be that guy. Don't miss out on good comics because you're just kind of being a bonehead. So read Comixology originals. And right now, there's no print comics. So go to Comixology and read some comics. So without further ado, I'm Mike. The guy to my left of me is Nick, and we will see you next week.